What is going on, everyone? AP over here at Rumpier Sports, bringing to you once again the Strokes Gang Show. I'm here with my two main guys. We got Snyder, we got Hoop. It's Masters Week. There's a lot going on in the headlines. Tiger, obviously dominating headlines. When you're watching PGA, when you're watching the Masters live right now, it's all the coverage is Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods this. The swing looks incredible. His shaft is massive, that we all know. All that's going to do is increase ownership. I mean, we got a lot to get into, a lot to dive into, but let's just, let's tackle Tiger real quick before we get into everything else. I mean, what's your first thoughts? Hoop, we'll go to you first. Tiger Woods, what are you seeing? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Ownership inflating, going up?
First off, very excited that he's playing, obviously. I mean, that just totally changes the entire dynamic of this week, like him being in the field, him being out there playing. I mean, that's all anyone has focused on all week long is Tiger, and it's great. I mean, super excited to see him out there, super excited to see him play. My opinion on the situation is, do I think he can grind out a made cut and get, 40th, maybe, 35th place? Yeah. I don't think he has a chance to come out here and win. Now, I hope I'm wrong. I hope come Sunday, Tiger Woods is in contention, top of the leaderboard. I hope that's the case. I just don't think that is. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, well, he wouldn't come out here and play if he didn't think he could win. I'm just not necessarily buying that. I think he wants to come out, make a cut, finish, 35th, maybe 30th at best. I don't think he really thinks in his head that he can come out here and win this tournament. So excited to see him out there. I hope people play him in DFS because I will not. And the ownership, like you said, it is on the rise. And I think it's going to continue to rise because those stories are starting to break. So everyone's coming out and saying, oh, he's hitting the ball so good, he looks great out there. Who the hell is going to come out and say, oh, I saw Tiger today on the course, he looks like shit? Like, no one's ever going to say that.
No one's going to say that.
All the reports are obviously going to be positive. The ownership's going to come up, and I'm good with that.
So I'm going to call bullshit on one thing, and I had to call it on myself earlier today. None of us are going to play him. I mean, we're not going to play him seriously. No, we don't want to see him at the top of the leaderboards. We all like money. Hoop, I know you're like me. You like money, the green, taking down tournaments. So I will say, the storyline is cool and all, but he's not going to be up there.
He's 8.5K on DK. He's 8.8K on FanDuel, which is a cheap value price tag. If you are going to play him and you're playing on both sites, I don't hate playing him on FanDuel. Honestly, I'll probably get some exposure to him on FanDuel because, like I said, I do think he makes his cut. He knows this course well enough, and we've seen these old timers come out here and just find a way to make a cut. I think he finds a way to make a cut, and really, you're only looking at like 25 guys probably getting cut out of this field. So I think he can, make the cut. I just don't see him getting to the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, I hear you. Snyder, let me kick it over to you. How are you feeling about the Masters, man? We have a lot to unpack tonight. It's going to be a great show. How are you feeling? We only got a couple, a day and a half or so until these guys get going. So how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm getting pretty pumped up. I mean, it's just only going to amp up as we get closer and closer, but I love this event. I love everything around it. It's kind of like the Super Bowl of golf. I'm really excited to see Tiger there. I mean, I'm on the same side as Hoop there. I think Tiger is a good bet to make the cut. I seen he was plus money to make the cut. I think if you want to get money down on Tiger, I think that's the best way to get money down on him is just to make the cut. I mean, I didn't even think his top 20 odds were as good, but I mean, you can bet him like top 40, top 30. I think that's optimal outcome for him this week.
Yeah, I think that's the play. Bet him to make the cut. And I don't even know what those odds are at the top of my head, but let's get into it. So if you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps us out each and every week. We do have a promo code going on right now, Masters50. That's going to get you 50% off your first payment over here at Rumpier Sports. Big T will hit us up. He wanted a promo code. I think it's only going to be available until these guys tee it off here on Thursday. So if you're not a member, sign up. We have a lot of stuff coming out. We have baseball that's starting up. Massive baseball team. Our PGA team is massive. We've broadened our core plays page for PGA. More cores are going to be in there. We got more of the team that's active and everything. So a lot of fun stuff coming. We got the premium show tomorrow night for members only. That's always a really great show with Big T, Uncle T, and the whole gang over there. And and Tambo, obviously. So a lot of fun stuff. We got the Masters here. Snyder, I got to kick it back over to you. I mean, Augusta, we all know the track. A big course, big boy course. It could play a little bit longer. We're getting a lot of rain right now, but I think it's going to be interesting, and I want you to talk more about the course, but I think wind is going to be a massive factor this week. So give us a little bit of a breakdown about the course, what you're looking at this week, wind, weather, anything like that that's factoring in.
Yeah, Augusta National is going to play just over 7,500 yards this year after they've added a little bit of length to the course. First and foremost, I mean, my favorite quote about this course is from none other than Tiger Woods. He says, "It's all about how you play the course," is his main quote about this place, meaning experience is greatly rewarded here at times. It's about surviving the conditions at times too. I mean, these conditions can change on a dime at any point in time. Golfers who play more defensive on the greens have had pretty good success overall. You want your putts to just fall into the hole there. Here, you don't want to try and force them into the hole like you may on some other courses. You just have to respect the conditions, respect the course. The cameras really don't do it justice here with how much undulation is on this course. I mean, the elevation changes throughout the property are immense, but you don't really notice that throughout the cameras. I mean, some of these greenside bunkers are deep, like foot's deep, like 3, 4, 5 foot deep. You just don't really see that. There's lots of false fronts here, some run out areas leading to some very tough up and downs. Hole 11 is where they added the new tee box. It's going to add about 15 yards to the hole. 15, they added that, added some length there. It's going to play at around 550 yards there. You must set yourself up really well off the tee here too. I mean, it's all about hitting your spots on this course. I mean, if you hit the fairway, I mean, that's good. But if you hit the wrong side of the fairway, you're going to be blocked off to a lot of these greens. You just got to know how to hit shots, where to hit them. On holes 9 through 11, they've kind of eliminated some of the bailout rough they had there to the right, and that's all going to play as fairway now. I mean, that's going to lead to some of these longer hitters hitting it through the fairways, and I hear they're going to be in some more danger if they run out through these fairways, so that's something to take into consideration, I think. And with the winds here, I think the winds are going to play very tough here. I mean, at Augusta, the winds generally like swirl, especially in Amen Corner. I mean, you might hit a shot on 11, the wind's coming at you in one direction, you get to 12, and I mean, it could be hitting you from a different direction. And I mean, when you're on the tee too, it's not going to feel that heavy or like it's blowing that much. And once your ball gets up in the air, I mean, it's really going to take over there. So I definitely think the wind is going to have a big play in the course conditions and the scoring here. I think the scoring is going to be right around -7 to -10 is where I think the winning score is going to come out. I've heard a lot of similarities to this, how it's going to play this year to the year Sergio Garcia won. So that's something to take in counting for. Some of the other key stats I'll be looking at here: strokes gained approach, course history, par 5 scoring, strokes gained short game, and strokes gained off the tee as well.
Yeah, I was looking at like Danny Willett, Sergio, those type of years. Where scoring wasn't as strong as what we've seen. I mean, we're not going to see like, the DJ year where he absolutely, went so low and broke all the scoring records here at Augusta. I mean, we're not going to see that for quite some time. I think it's going to be tough. I mean, I think these guys are going to miss greens. I think experience is going to matter. That's something that I think all three of us are weighting very heavily this year or this week. And, the ability to get up and in to save par, or make birdie is massive here at Augusta. So those are going to be the guys that we are looking at. Let's dive in. How we do it each and every week. We're going to go tier by tier. We're going to start with the studs, the 10K and up range. And I want to think that this, it's going to take a little bit longer tonight because the pool of players is smaller and it's loaded. All the best golfers in the world are here. And pricing, I don't know. I kind of like pricing, how DraftKings did it specifically. I think it made it really fun. Like ownership is going to spread out, and that gives us an edge in tournaments. So Hoop, let's start with you. Let's start with this 10K and up range, from Rory all the way up to our boy, Scotty Scheffler. What are you doing with these guys?
A good point you hit on there. I mean, the pricing is good this week. I mean, a lot of times at majors, the pricing is pretty weak, and there's some standout, like really, really cheap guys that are just like very impossible to fade. You don't really have that this week. I mean, there's some guys that are relatively cheap that are strong plays and going to get some ownership, but you don't have like 5 or 6 like standout, way underpriced guys like we typically get at the majors. So DraftKings did a good job, and you got we got 7 guys here over 10K. So, it makes it difficult. Let's just starting at the top, Scotty Scheffler. I love what they did with Scheffler. I love that they got him above Jon Rahm. He's been the best player in the world for the last couple months. He's been, ranked #1 now in the official world golf rankings. If they come out and put him in the 9K range, he's the highest owned guy on the slate, and it's not even close. They got him at 11K, and his ownership looks like it's going to be 10% or even lower. So to me, Scheffler is a very important decision that you make in your lineups. It's easy to get overweight, but you're going to have to make some sacrifices. If you pay 11K for Scheffler, you're making some sacrifices. You're going to have to play some guys in the 6K range. But his ownership's coming in low. He's the best golfer in the world. I plan on getting some exposure. Jon Rahm, I think it's very simple. Obviously I've been saying this for a long time. I think Jon Rahm's the best, and his game has not been what we're used to seeing as of late. A lot of disappointing performances, but most of that has been with the putter. He did look pretty good at the match play. If you've been playing Jon Rahm every week, I just can't imagine getting off him at this point. So for me, I've been playing him all season long. Every time he tees it up, there's no way I can fade Jon Rahm here after playing him for the last couple months. So I'll be on Rahm. Dustin Johnson at 10.5, another guy that could come in relatively low owned. I think he could be like 10-12%. I have some interest in him. And then Justin Thomas, I think, is a phenomenal play this week at 10.3. Been practicing with Tiger all week, and I mean, that's not necessarily the reason why I like him. I think that is an added bonus. You're going to the guy that probably knows this course better than anyone. Well, he definitely knows the course better than anyone teeing it up this week, and you get a couple rounds with him, it definitely can't hurt you. So he's 10.3. I've watched a lot of Justin Thomas over the course of the last, his last 4 or 5 events. He is, I'd say, hitting his irons better than anyone in this field. Now it's very simple. It comes down to the putting with Justin Thomas. It's been the same case for a long time. Can he make some putts? If he makes some putts, I think he contends this week and has a good chance of winning. If he misses those cuts, you're probably looking at, or misses those putts, you're probably looking at like a 25th place performance, which is not good enough for his price tag. But love JT this week. Then it gets to some guys that I don't have much interest in. Morikawa, I know Snyder is going to be sad to hear that, but can't do Morikawa right now. Hasn't looked great. Doesn't have the best course history here. And then Hovland, I mean, you need to be good around the greens. You need to be good with your short game. He's like one of the worst in the field around the greens. But both those guys are going to have low ownership. So if you like Hovland, if you like Morikawa, very easy to get overweight, because I think both these guys are probably sub 10% in terms of ownership. And then Rory, I mean, last week I fell victim to Rory. I played him. It was a mistake. He's the 7th most expensive golfer in this field. And I mean, this is not an exaggeration. People will say it's a bad take. He's probably like the 25th to 30th best golfer in this field. Like, the dude sucks. So definitely no Rory. Can't imagine clicking it. It just doesn't even look good. Like, the irons are not good. The putting's a disaster. Can't imagine clicking Rory's name. He is not very good. And like I said, probably 25th in this field, I'd say, in terms of where he ranks against all these other golfers. So it's a good top range. If you plan on getting overweight here, though, like I said, if you plan on playing, 3-4 of these guys, you will make some sacrifices in your lineup. You're going to have to get comfortable with some 6K guys, which we will talk about at the end of the show. I do think there's some guys down there that are playable. I mean, the one thing to keep in mind here, it's top 50 in ties make the cut. So you're looking at 55 to 60 guys making the cut. There's 91 in this field. So potentially 30 some guys getting cut. Well, there's a lot of freebies down here. The former winners and stuff, there's about 10 dudes that have like zero chance. You're really only looking at 20 guys that are probably going to get 20 legitimate guys that are going to get cut this week. But obviously this is a world-class field. best golfers in the world, and this top range, it's tough to decipher. I mean, these are some solid guys, and you got to make some stands, got to make some flag plants, and yeah, that's kind of where I'm at up here.
So, like for me, like I'm gonna agree with you about a lot that you said there, Hoop. And one specifically, I'm thinking back to the show that we did yesterday with Big T and Tambo. I was kind of torn, undecided on Justin Thomas, and I'm a big time Justin Thomas homer. He's my guy, and so I try not to be too bias heavy when I'm factoring him. But man, I was watching Scotty Scheffler's interview today, and he's talking about how, they're asking him, did Tiger come and talk to you? You're world number one, all this stuff. Like, is he giving you tips about the course? And he said, no, like he'll give him absolutely nothing. But who he does give everything to is Justin Thomas. And that's because Justin Thomas is like a big brother to his son. And they're like super close together all the time. I'm pretty sure they played this. They did a practice round, Tiger and JT, like last week or something, multiple times. So the more I dive into it, the more I'm thinking, man, hopefully our boy Big T kind of backtracks a little bit and doesn't go too heavy, because I know he has a bet with Tambo taking all the guys in this range against JT, because I'm definitely with you on JT. My shares are going up big time. And I'll get to that. But first, let's go over to Snyder. We got this big range here. Snyder, my question for you. I want to know your thoughts on JT. In my Big Game Hunters article, I have your boy Morikawa ranked ahead of Justin Thomas, and rightfully so. Like, Morikawa has 2 major wins. There's no, like, I don't care how good JT's playing. When it comes to an article like that, I can't put him ahead of Morikawa because of what he's done in such a short period of time. So I know you're going to talk to us about Morikawa, but talk to us about the 10K and up range and what you're doing with these guys.
Yeah, for sure. There's 7 guys in this range, but I think I'm only going to get to like 3 or 4 of them. I'm not going to play them all. That's not how I play. I mean, I'm going to make some hard stands here. And I think JT is going to be one of the hard stands here. I mean, he hasn't fared well at Augusta outside of that November edition where he finished 4th. The Inters in great form, though. I mean, he's finished 8th or better in 7 of his last 10 events. But I can
just hop in real quick though. Last year he was winning this event, and then I went to that weather delay and he hit that triple. I mean, he was coasting. He was coasting. Honestly, you can look in hindsight and say anything, but if that weather delay doesn't hit, he probably wins this last year.
His history here is
definitely debatable. Yeah,
I could definitely see overlook.
Yeah.
Keep going.
But I mean, I can play 2 bad putters in JT and Morikawa. I can play one at 20-25% ownership, and I can play one at 7% ownership. I'm going to play. I think they're fair point. I think they're very close to the same ball strikers. I think they're very close off the tee. I think they're basically a carbon copy of each other. And I'm just going to side with my guy, Morikawa, at like a third to less ownership. I was kind of digging into some Morikawa putting stuff, and I was like, well, I wonder how he putts on really fast greens. I was looking back. I seen some stats at the Genesis that those greens are rolling really fast this year. He finished 2nd there. Back at the Memorial.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I don't have a whiteboard, but before I forget, because I'll forget, I want JT, my boy, against your boy. Can we get something in real quick?
Absolutely.
We'll limit the interruptions, but I know I'll forget. All right.
Definitely. We can get some
okay, JT,
lunch or whatever. Yeah.
All right, yeah. Let's do it. All right, booked.
Definitely. That'll force you to get out of the house then. But
that is true.
I was looking like back at the Memorial when he was there. Those greens are running super fast, at least like 12, 13 on the step meter. I mean, they're going to be rolling a little faster here, but very similar, I think. He finished 2nd at the Memorial. PGA Championship, on Fantasy National, the green speed for that was lightning. He won that event. The Workday at the same Muirfield Village, very fast greens. He won that event. I think Morikawa, when he doesn't have to try and force it and he can kind of play defensive putting, I think he's done better with that. I mean, I could be reading way too much into that, but that's just kind of something I dug on earlier today. So I'm going to kind of go on that. I mean, he has played 8. He's had 8 major starts. He's got 2 wins. Nobody's done that since like Bobby Jones or someone like back in World War I. I had to throw the World War I deal in there for AP. but I think, I mean, I just, he hasn't played the best in his last two events, but I think he's a guy that can turn it on. I mean, I probably won't be super heavyweight on him. I might play him at like 20%, so I can still get like 3x on him, and then I can still have enough going. Because I definitely want to play some DJ this week. DJ's right in that range, right above Thomas too. So I'm going to play the guys right around JT. I'm going to play Morikawa and I'm play DJ. I usually don't play too much DJ, but I think his game's rounding into form right here at the perfect time. Finished 9th at the Players, nearly won the match play championship then. He's got some of the best course history around here. He won this event in 2020, got second in 2019. He's finished 10th or better in 5 of his last 6 trips here. He's minus 115 versus Rory. So I'm going to be on JT, or I'm going to be on DJ and Morikawa sandwiched around JT, who's going to carry more of the ownership, it seems. I mean, I've seen JT's to win odds, and some matchup odds are definitely moving in his favor. It's definitely a scary fade, but I'm going to roll with my guy Big T on this one and get off of JT. For a couple of the lower owned guys, the biggest debate with me is at the top of this range. I really do like what they did with Scottie Scheffler's price. I love how they priced him all the way up to 6K to 11K. I have a hard time seeing him even hit 10%. I think he'll be like in that 7 to 10% range. So, I mean, he's definitely playing the best golf in the world. It's not even arguable right now. 3 wins in his last 7, or 3 wins and a 7th in his last 5 events. The game just looks like flawless, tee to green. I mean, I like that he's got the right head on the shoulders too. I think we saw him. I think it was at the API. He was up chilling in the lounge, eating a protein bar. They walk up to him like, "Hey, you just won." And he's like, "All right." Keeps eating his protein bar and just goes right back. I don't think he's a guy that's going to let this all go to his head. And I think he's going to roll in. He's going to show up with his lunch pail and go right back to work here. He's got 2 top 20s here, 2 in his first 2 events. Gets his 3rd look at this place. I think that can only he's got all the momentum in the world too. Confidence is high. I think that'll really prevail for him here. I think I am going to play some Rahm if I can. I haven't tried to build anything yet, but I would like to play some Scotty, some Rahm, and then DJ, and I can get overweight on Morikawa by not playing as much either. So I think those are the 4 guys I'm going to be looking at in this 10K and up range.
Yeah, a very important range, and we got to make cuts. It's what we do. For me, the cuts are pretty easy. Morikawa, Hovland, 2 easy cuts that I'm going to make. Now, with the article that I posted for our members, I did have Jon Rahm ranked number 1 as a big game hunter, looking at what has been done recently in majors. And I don't see how you don't give that spot to Rahm. Scottie Scheffler was a close second. He doesn't have a major, and that was, kind of the difference maker there for me. But when you look at these 2 guys, and while I want to play a ton of Rahm, I mean, Scottie Scheffler, sure, he's world number 1. What he wants is a major championship. He's playing better than anyone else in the field right now. And specifically for the Masters and at Augusta, the guy has been incredible with the short game around the greens, and the driver is just on point right now. And it's indicative when you look at the match that he had against DJ. I think that's something that's very important to look at. DJ had all the momentum in the world. I thought he was going to come back and win, and he didn't. Scottie Scheffler hit an incredible shot on that par 5, gave him an eagle look, and then it was over. And then he went on to absolutely dust Kevin Kisner, took the week off, said he was working on short game work and stuff like that. The other crazy thing too is Sam Burns, one of his good friends, he said in his interview that's been his playing partner this week. And we'll get to that range with Sam Burns, but he said Sammy Burns was absolutely killing him, destroying him in the practice round. So it's kind of interesting there. Maybe, we bump the Burnsy shares up, but for me, it's really tough deciding between the 2. When you look at Rahm's record, it's incredible. When you look at everything he's doing outside of the short game, he checks every single box. My fear with Rahm is if these wins do pick up, and if these guys are missing more greens. So if the whole field is missing more greens, because that's what's going to happen when the winds pick up, when we're looking at 20 to 25 mile an hour winds, man, it's going to put a lot of pressure on a short game. So I'm torn right now. I'm leaning Scottie Scheffler because I'm looking at ownership going to Rahm, even though, so I'm flip-flopping. I was Rahm, now I'm flip-flopping. I think Scheffler is probably the play here. But then I'm also flip-flopping because I love JT. I love what I'm seeing. Look, when you look at what JT did last year, it was an absolute embarrassment. He knows that. And his major record was terrible. It was absolutely terrible last year. He did nothing. I think his best finish was like 16th or something like that in majors. His form looks incredible right now. And specifically his around the green game checks a ton of boxes for me. Sure, the putting from 10 to 15 feet is a little bit of a concern, but par 5 scoring, his chipping is very good. And obviously the ball striking is there. And I think just, playing with Tiger being in the field, I think it's going to give him that extra boost. So I am definitely bumping up my shares of JT this week. And Rory was a guy that I wanted to get on originally, but man, I'm not trusting it. The only thing that he has going for him is it does look like it's going to be a soft course. But still, I don't think that matters if we get a lot of wind. I just think there's a lot of things with this game right now that's off. And if we get any type of weather, it's going to impact things and it's going to throw him off. So I'm going to say my 1 and 2 in this range is, the one guy I didn't hit on is DJ, but he's definitely a guy I like. But my 1 and 2, I got to go Scotty Scheffler and Justin Thomas. Hoop, what is your 1 and 2 in this 10K range?
I'm gonna go JT and then John Rahm.
JT and John Rahm. Snyder, you're 1 and 2.
I think I'm gonna go with Dustin Johnson 1 and Morikawa 2.
Wow, if you were surprised that Morikawa wasn't number 1 like I am, hit that like button. It's gonna help us out a ton.
I don't have to play as much Morikawa to get overweight on him. So
there you go. Yeah, I mean. Thing is he's a major winner, so I get it. I like to give you shit. Hoop, let's get down to that 9K range, another loaded range, a lot of really good options. What are you doing with these guys down here?
This is a good range. I mean, got a major field and under 10K, there's a lot of options. Now, I think where people make mistakes is I think people are going to come down here and they're going to try to play everyone because there's a lot of appealing names here. There's a lot of guys that look good on paper. You just can't do it. You play everyone here, you're going to lose. I mean, you're going to lose to the rake. Like you have to make some stands. And for me, right at the top, I think is a huge, I said what you do with Scotty Scheffler is very important. I think one of the next biggest decisions is Cam Smith. And I'm kind of surprised that with all these names up here, that Cam Smith is the one that's looking like he might be the most popular. In some places have him close to like 25% owned. And it makes it difficult. If you want to play 3 or 4 guys up top, it's hard to pay the 9.9 for Cam Smith and get over the field. Like I should preface this by saying when I play a guy, I want to be over the field. In order for me to get over the field on Cam Smith, it's going to take a lot. So unless something drastically changes with his ownership, I don't think I can get there. I mean, Snyder used the example of like Morikawa and JT in that range. Like, all right, JT is going to be popular. He'll just go to Morikawa. I'm looking at this range and saying, all right, Cam Smith is going to be popular. Maybe I just go to Jordan Spieth, who's going to be low owned, absolutely loves this course. I can get overweight on him relatively easier, $100 cheaper. So that's something I'm looking at, the Cam Smith thing, Jordan Spieth. Xander, I play Xander at all these majors, and I'm hoping his ownership is pretty low because I really like him here. And, the game isn't in the exact same place it was last year. He did play pretty well here. I believe 3rd place. He hit like a double or triple bogey to take himself out of contention
16
as well. Right. Yeah. And on the par 3, he hit in the water. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Did he hit in the water twice?
I believe so. He did something. He tripled it. I know.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he hit in the water twice. Took himself out of contention, but he knows his course. And I just think he's one of the best golfers in the world. The guy that is very interesting is Cantlay. I think Cantlay could come in really low on because I think Xander gets ownership, Brooks gets ownership, Cam Smith is going to get ownership, Zalatoris is going to get ownership. I think Cantlay has a chance to come in pretty low on this week, maybe like 7, 8, 9%. And if that's the case, I want some. I'm not usually a Brooks guy, but I'm going to be a Brooks guy this week, Snyder. So you'll be happy to hear that. I'm definitely a Brooks guy this week. performs well at this course. Last year, obviously, was not good. Dude was playing on one leg. He couldn't even get down to see what the greens looked like on a lower level. I mean, his leg was like stiff. He couldn't bend it at all. 9-4. He's, you know, AP did the article, the big game hunter. Brooks Koepka is a big game hunter. There's no denying that. 9-4, I'll be on him. Matsuyama, just couldn't imagine clicking his name. I mean, he's going to be like 2 or 3% on him. There's obviously something clearly wrong. Had to withdraw last week, been a disaster. You know, obviously won here last year, but no one's going to be playing him, and I can't imagine clicking that name. Zalatoris definitely have some interest in at 9-2. Bryson, another guy. I mean, you just can't click his name right now. He is a disaster, absolute disaster. And then Daniel Berger's a guy that's looking to come in pretty low owned this week. Kind of surprised. I mean, Berger's a guy that's typically carries some ownership, but he's probably just a casualty of this range. Like so many guys in this range, not everyone can have that big ownership. Berger, low owned, 9K is a fair price tag. I think is intriguing, but this range is loaded. And like I said, I think you need to make cuts here. You can't play all these guys. You're going to come here and you're going to want to play all these guys if you're making 150 lineups. Don't do it. Make your cuts. And like I said, to me, the most important part is what you do with Cam Smith. I mean, the ownership appears to be holding strong. He's going to be one of the highest owned guys this week. What you do with him, I think, really dictates how you build your lineups this week.
Yeah, I mean, the last time I was drinking one of these, you know, I think I was about 3 or 4 deep. I was down in Arizona, Scottsdale, a little family thing, and you know, put a nice little wager in on Daniel Berger, 40-1. I thought the odds looked good. The around the green game looks phenomenal, and I'm as surprised as you are with his ownership projections on DraftKings. It's kind of baffling. Maybe it's because Louis Oosthuizen and these other guys are in that range, but I think he is a phenomenal play. He's someone that I'm definitely, he's going to be a staple in my lineups for sure. Snyder, 9K range. We have a lot of guys down here. You know, your boy Bryson is down here in this range. Hideki, another guy. What are you doing with these guys in this 9K range?
Yeah, we got 9 guys in this 9K range, and I think I'm going to play 4 of them, I think. It's kind of a decision with Cam Smith, like Hoop said, but I think I'm just going to play him. I like Cam Smith. I've been playing him somewhat to start the year. I mean, he's been doing really well coming into this year. Won the Players in windy conditions. If the winds come up here, I definitely think the Aussie can handle the winds. Doing really well. Great recent form mixed with great course history here as well. 2 wins in his last 5 starts and a 4th, mixed in with to go with a 10th, 2nd, 51st, 5th, and 4 trips to Augusta. So that's 3 top 10s and 4 trips to Augusta. So I like how both the recent form and the course history form kind of align here. So I think Cam Smith is just I'm just got to get different elsewhere. I think I'm definitely gonna have some Cam Smith this week for sure. He showed at the Players Championship that he's got what it takes to win on the big time stage now. So I think he's going to be popular for sure, probably like 20%, but I'm just going to play, I'm not sure how much, maybe 30% or something just to make sure I can get over. I'm not going to 2X him, but probably right around 30%, I think. I definitely like Xander, my guy down there, or Xander, as I like to say. He was right there to win it last year, like Hoop said. He was right there, hole 16. He took on, he should have, I think he wouldn't even change clubs because he hit 1 club too less. Ends up short, found the water, and then I'm not sure what happened on the second shot, if he overcorrected it or what. Took a triple there, ended up, I think, finishing 3rd there. I mean, Hideki tried to give it back to him a couple of holes later, but it was too little too late there. I think he's definitely got a top 5 upside here for Xander. He's finished inside the top 10, including 2 finishes of 3rd or better at Augusta here, so I definitely like Xander. The guy I really love in this range, no surprise, is Mr. Koepka here. I think he's 1K too cheap. I think this is the one pricing error that we always see with Koepka coming into these majors. How he usually doesn't even look like he's trying coming into these events, but he has actually played better coming into this event than normal. 12th at the Valspar, 16th at the Honda, 3rd at the Waste Management. I mean, his Masters history is very, very good. Outside of that last year, I think he was playing on 1 leg basically last year. He had torn ACL or something. outside of that, 7th, 2nd, 11th in his last 3 trips here, not counting him playing. Oh, I'm talking about not counting about that playing on that last year deal. Brooks Koepka ranks in majors since 2016. He's first scored a par, first in birdies or better, first in rounds in the 60s. Strokes gained total, he's number 1. Rounds led, co-led, and wins, he's number 1. So he's definitely fits the mold of a big game hunter. I think Brooks should be in that 10K range, and he's not. And I'm definitely gonna be overweight on him for there. I mean, the other decision I have down here, I'm not going to play Hideki. I'm not going to play Bryson. I'm probably not going to play Cantlay. I know he's going to be low owned, but he just hasn't had it. I mean, he's generally plays well on the West Coast, and then it kind of, once he gets south, he doesn't really play that well down south. So I'm going to probably be off Cantlay there, off of Spieth. I just never play Spieth. If he beats me, he beats me, but I'm just not going to be there. But I'm really kind of deciding on playing Will Zalatoris or Daniel Berger. I've been a big Berger guy, like over the last couple of years. I really like his game. I think it sets up well here, but the same goes for Zalatoris. If he can get the putter going, I mean, Zalatoris ranks number 1 in strokes gained approach over the last 24 rounds. He's 2nd in ball striking, 7th off the tee, 9th in bogeys avoided. I mean, he just ranks really well stats wise. So that's a decision I'm going to make going forward. What's that?
You know who isn't a Berger guy?
Who's that?
Will Zalatoris, because he's like 130 pounds.
Yeah.
No chance that guy eats any hamburgers. No way.
Yeah.
Dad joke. I had to get the dad joke out.
I was waiting for Hoop to bring that joke up, but you stole his thunder there.
Yeah.
Did you see that picture? We won't go into that. If you want some entertainment, go back to Discord. I don't want to.
That was a good one. Do you have any conviction on Berger versus Zalatoris, AP?
I do. I do. So, yeah, when I'm going to this, Zalatoris is the one where it's like, man, when I was writing that article, you get sucked into what he's done in his little time in these majors. I mean, on paper, he looks like a big game hunter. He looked like 2nd at the Masters last year, an 8th place finish at the PGA, 6th at the US Open. Man, I carried by ball striking. I'm not buying it though. Like, I wanted to like him. Every time I look at him and every time I do a review of these ranges, he keeps dropping further and further. Like when I did my first mock-up of that article, I think he was like 5th or 6th. He was like really close to my top 5. And then I think he dropped to like 11th. And I'm like, I can't have this guy inside my top 10. That doesn't make sense. And when I look at it more with these wins, if we're missing these greens, that's going to affect his approach play, which is his number 1 weapon. And if he is off at all on his approach, he is not going to have the year that he had last year at the Masters. So for me, it's a wind thing. I think Daniel Berger is a much better play. I think Berger can play in the wind. I think his around the green game is way, way better than Will Zalatoris. I mean, man, Zalatoris, 55th in the field around the green. When you're looking at putts, this guy ranks almost dead last. He's there with Larry Mize, inside 10 feet. It's like him and Larry Mize, like the very similar putting.
They said he's got a new putter this week. I don't know if that changed.
I was giving him props.
It can't be any worse.
There was a moment where his putting stroke looked a little bit better, but then again, I can't remember when it was. I was watching. I was like, "Whoo, not good." So again, it's going to be ball striking, but when you factor in all the other things, and then just think about it, like this guy finished 2nd last year. That's incredible. Like, how often do we see guys go back to back, even top 10s? I mean, you're talking John Rahm. You're talking, like Justin Thomas. These guys here that are not Justin Thomas, Dustin Johnson, Tiger, those type of guys. I don't know if Willie Z is there. So to answer your question, Snyder, it's Daniel Berger for me. Bryson, easy fade for me this week. Hideki, another easy fade as well. I was off Cantlay as well. I was rewatching the 2019. I watch it every year since Tiger won. I just think Jim Nance and those guys did such a good job. I mean, man, 2 guys were right there: Patrick Cantlay and Xander Schauffele, right there down the stretch. I'm under on Patrick Cantlay, but Xander Schauffele, I think, might be. So, like, I thought Brooks Koepka was the best play in this range. I'm starting to think that Xander Schauffele is the best play in this range. When you factor in wind, the weather, a softer course, his swing, what he's doing with his putting grip. Some people think it's cheating. Others, I mean, it isn't cheating right now, but I like it because he's making more putts with that locked putter grip. I'm really starting to like Xander. And I also think that ownership is just going to spread out in this range. So if Xander falls into that, and I'm not the best with ownership projections, but, under 20% range, if we get him at 40, 45%, man, we can easily be well over the field on him. And his results here just speak for themselves. I think his game is looking very good right now as well. So Xander Schauffele, a guy I'm very high on. Cantlay, again, I'm kind of torn on what to do with him. Probably will end up under Koepka, big game hunter, ranked third in my article. I'm definitely going to be on him. Cam Smith is the tough one. If these ownership projections are true, it's tough. There's a debate to be had. But when I look at his record here, when I look at how he's played in the wind, when I look at his short game right now, specifically, he ranks best in the field. He's gained like an insane 25 some strokes over putting over his last 24 rounds. The guy's putter is on fire. And since the Players Championship, all he said is he worked on a short game. The ball striking's there. He just spent time working on a short game. So I don't think I can fade Cam Smith. I think he's a good play. So I'm going to have to find cuts elsewhere. I'm going to sum this range up, though. For me, I'm going to say the two best plays, and it's tough, but I'm going to say Xander and Brooks Koepka, my 1 and 2s. Snyder, what was your 1 and 2 in the 9K range?
Yeah, I'm going to go Brooks Koepka, number 1, and then Xander, number 2. A couple of my guys right there.
Okay. Yeah, very good. Hoop, 1 and 2, and then take us down to the 8K range.
Yeah, sounds like we're in lockstep. I'm same two guys, but I'm on the AP side, Xander, and then Brooks. I think two phenomenal plays. Now, I mean, the 8K range is for me where we catch up. I got this guy in the chat. I mean, where's he at? Harry Brandt. I'm not hearing many fades, Hoop. Are you going to have 60 in your player pool? Listen, dude, I play less than anyone that plays 150 every week. I have the smallest player pool. So wherever you're getting that from, move on. Here you go. I'm fading everyone in the 8K range except Tony Finau. All right. Tony Finau. I am on Tony Finau this week. Love Tony Finau in general. He's been a disaster. He's coming back into our lives this week, and he's going to print for us. I have a good feeling. Decent at the match play. Pretty solid last week. The ball striking was there. Just comes down to making putts. He has a phenomenal record at this course. He knows it well. I would just think back a few years ago when in that par 3 contest where he snapped his ankle out of place and then put it back in place, and everyone got off him, and he still finished top 10. Top 10 Tony's back this week. I think he finishes in the top 10, maybe top 5. Love myself some Finau. A lot of guys in this range though are going to be fades for me, and with Louis Oosthuizen, and I think you either are a Louis guy or you're not. I'm not a Louis guy, and really he hasn't been all that good this year, so I'm fine being off him. Shane Lowry, I mean, I guess he could get a little boost here if it is windy, which it sounds like it's definitely going to be windy. Maybe he gets a little boost, but can't pay the price tag. The most overpriced guy in this entire field, I have no idea why they put Gooch at 8.7K. No one's going to play him at 8.7, and for the right reasons. I'll be off on him. The one guy that I might have a little interest in, probably won't get there though, Sammy Burns. Dude's a good putter, man. He just sinks 30-foot putts at will. So that scares me a little bit with him, but I don't know. I mean, I could potentially see getting to him, but I doubt that I will. Sung Jae, no thanks. Some temptation with Adam Scott at 8.3. I'm always on the wrong side of Adam Scott. He hasn't been all that good lately. Missed the cut at the Players. I think he did have the bad weather draw there, though. Arnold Palmer is 26. I don't know. I just can't be. I'm never on the right side of Adam Scott. Not going to really play Neiman. And then Hatton is another guy. This wind's looking strong. Maybe I can come back and play some Hatton. But for sure, the only guy I know for sure that I'm going to be on is Tony Finau, and I feel pretty good about it. I think he does have a good week this week at the Masters. He's always played well here. The game looked decent last week, so maybe he's starting to turn a corner, and he gets this course where he's obviously had all this success. So going to be on some Finau, but overall, this is not a great range. And honestly, there's not going to be much ownership here at all. So if you like someone in this range, again, easy to get overweight because there's not much ownership in this range at all.
Yeah, Neiman. So we're going to have to go, but Snyder, me and you are going to have to go back and finish up the playbook tonight. But I had an early RPS tag on Neiman. Then I saw his pairing grouped with Tiger. I'm going to have to remove that because that's going to be an absolute circus. Like Tiger, the crowds around Tiger, everyone out there is going to be around Tiger. And that's a ton of pressure for a guy like Neiman. Usti sure could handle it, but I don't like his game. So that's going to be a tough thing for those guys to handle. And I would even say the groups before and after them. So something to consider for sure. Snyder, take us into this 8K range. How do you feel about these guys?
Yeah, I have some consideration in a couple of these guys. Generally kind of a fade for me as well in this range. I don't like too much of these guys. I do have some conviction on Shane Lowry, though. He's just been playing too good coming into this. Second at the Honda, 13th at the Players, 12th at the Valspar. The putting has been there for those three events. I mean, the strokes gained approach has been elite. I think he's averaging right around 5 strokes gained approach in those 3 events. Great off the tee in those. He's just been great across the board in those 3 events. And he comes into, like, in majors, we've seen him finish top 25 in 4 of his last 5 majors. So he's definitely a guy I think could come through with like a top 20. And if it does get windy here, I mean, we know he's an elite wind player if that's needed. I mean, I think he's going to come in like maybe right around 10 to 13% ownership. I mean, it'd be pretty easy to get a little overweight on him if you want to, and I probably will there. Gooch, I'll be fading. Sam Burns, I'm probably going to fade him. He's never played here. I don't think he plays well in the majors, so I think I'm just going to X him. If he beats me, he beats me. Tiger Woods is not going to play him on DraftKings. Maybe some on FanDuel, like Hoop said. I mean, I could probably get a splash there. No Sungjae for me. And Adam Scott is the kind of the guy I'm really deciding on too. He did miss the cut at the Players. He has made his last 7 cuts with a 4th at the Genesis. I mean, he's a previous Masters winner. The guy I'm going to consider, he does have really good made cut percentages here at the Masters. The last couple of years haven't been that good, 54th and a 34th. So in a 32nd and a 42nd mixed in there too in his last 6 years. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with Scott. I mean, I think he's only going to be at like 10%. So if I want to get a little overweight on him, I probably could easily like at 15% or something. But I mean, that's a big decision coming down tomorrow as I start building lineups. Neiman, I'm off Neiman as well. I don't like the pairing, like you said. Finau is the guy I just can't make my mind on. I never get Finau right. He's just been so bad off the tee for like the last year and a half. Did finally gain off the tee in his last event over 2 strokes at the Valero. I mean, his accuracy has been pretty bad dating back to last year when he was missing some cuts. He's got a couple miscuts this year too. Miscut the Players, miscut the Phoenix Open, miscut the Farmers. He's one of those guys I think that Tony Finau is kind of like morphing into almost like a Brooks Koepka type. Like, I think he's going to show out in some of these majors. He's underpriced here, so I think I'll have to get some Tony Finau in this range. I'm looking at his ownership right now. Yeah, he'll probably be right around 10%. Is that what you guys think for Finau?
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I think. Probably
he might get steamed up a little actually, but yeah, probably 10%.
Right. Yeah, I'm not playing Hatton in this range either, so it's probably like Lowry and some Finau. Not sure on Scott yet.
So like, I'll fight you a little bit on the Finau off the tee game. It is gaining strokes off the tee has been fine. It's been his putter, I think, that's really held him back. And, you know, we saw some signs of life with the putter, but all of that I don't really think matters with a guy like Tony Finau. We're really starting to see it. And Snyder, I think you hit the nail on the head. He is becoming a Brooks Koepka type. He's a big game hunter. He was inside my top 10 rankings for big game hunters this week, and rightfully so when you look at his record in majors, and specifically here at Augusta. I can't fade Finau. I think he's a phenomenal play. And it's not like you have to do anything crazy to get overweight on him. Like, you can get 25, 30%, and you're going to be 2.5, 3 times the field. And I think, 30, 35 might be the right number there. He was a guy I was considering just like flag planning, having in the 55 to 60% range, but I don't think I need to take on that type of risk. I think I can mix and match my right combinations, right, having them at that 35% range. So I'm going to run a ton of different builds tonight using SaberSim, which is a partner of ours, to dial that in. But that's kind of what I'm thinking right now with Tony Finau. Sam Burns, I'll comment on him here real quick. I think this is his major experience is very limited. Like, he played in 3 last year, and I think in 2019, I recall him having an okay finish in an Open or something like that. But he's really like a guy that just comes online and starts to play incredible golf. He's, buddies with Scotty Scheffler, and I think these guys just, hang out, play golf, and dominate. And I think he's up there. I think he's one of those elite guys. And I think he's a value at 8,600. The only knock on him, in my opinion, is his lack of experience here. But that is not going to, deter me from playing him this week. So I'm definitely going to have him. I'm not playing Taylor Gooch. I'm there with you guys. Like, I can't play Taylor Gooch 8,700 when Sam Burns and these other guys are cheaper than him. Oosthuizen, I'm not playing him. Shane Lowry, I'm torn on. But honestly, with a soft course, this is going to play. It's a big boy track if it's going to be soft these first 2 days. I think that's a big hit to Lowry. I will say the wind does give him an edge. I'm not like a huge Shane Lowry guy. So like, I don't want to force him in. If he beats me, he beats me. And I have to make cuts here. So for me, my most likely cuts are definitely Oosthuizen and Gooch, possibly Shane Lowry, Tiger Woods, Sung JM, Adam Scott. Definitely not playing him. I think he always gets ownership here. And I'm not like, if Scott beats me, he beats me. I'm not seeing it. I think he's past his prime. Like, I'd rather play Neiman. I'm not playing Neiman as well. So I'm making a ton of cuts here in this mid-tier range. Neiman, Scott, all those guys. Love Finau, and I have mild interest in Hatton. I'm definitely going to play a little bit of him. I also think Hatton is going to be a guy that falls under ownership wise. And the one thing I like about Hatton is his around the green game is incredible, and his putter is very, very good right now. I think with these winds and the wind gusts that pick up, I think that's going to benefit a guy like him. So if I were to give my 1 and 2, my 1 is definitely Tony Finau. My 2 is tough. I probably side with Tyrell Hatton, but it's probably a coin flip between him and Sam Burns. Snyder, you're 1 and 2 in the 8K range.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Shane Lowry 1 and then Tony Finau 2.
I love it. Hoop, you're 1 and 2.
I can only go 1. It's just going to be Finau. Honestly, I'm leaning towards fading everyone else. So Finau 1 and blank for number 2.
Yeah, I like that. So if you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps us out very much. We have a promo going on right now, Masters 50. It's going to get you 50% off your first payment over here at Run Pure Sports. While other companies out there are charging outrageous amounts for their golf product and other, kind of separating out all of these different sports, we don't. We're one price. One price gets you everything. We have MLB starting up. Come pay that one price, get 50% off your first payment using the code Masters50, and you're going to get it all. Access to our Discord, core plays, playbooks, cash charts, premium shows, everything. I think it's an incredible value.
Our guy Title's got a big UFC card coming up too, and that's also included.
I got scolded by Title today because I put out that tweet, promoting the promo that we released, and I was kind of just going on the new things. Like, we got the Masters, which is a very unique PGA event. We got MLB starting this week and the NBA going into playoffs, and Title was on my ass like that. He's like, no respect for the UFC. I was like, UFC is on every week. That's nothing new. I'm talking about the new stuff. But the card this week is really, really strong. It is a very strong card for UFC 273. And our boy Title, I think, does a phenomenal job. I mean, absolute phenomenal job breaking down the entire card, core plays. And, you know, he's not like these other guys. He'll make stands. Like, he'll say, fade this guy, or, you know, all these other MMA guys. Oh, well, get a sprinkle of him, get a little 80% of him, 20% of him. No, we make stands here. Title does a great job with that. So you have to make sure when you talk about the promo and the things coming up, don't forget that UFC 273 or Title will be coming for you.
Yeah. And, you know, and to add on to that, I think it's worth it alone. I mean, we got Sunday, the last final day of NBA regular season. If you all remember last year, every team plays and it's an absolute shit show. It is, you know, I mean, some teams rest everyone and it's a bunch of G League dudes against other G League dudes. And we are grinding it. The Masters will be on, but I'm telling you, I'll be right here in my office. We'll all be grinding it. And we'll be providing content for that. And my last thing before going into the next range is our shows for NBA during the playoffs. Like, our content does not stop for NBA playoffs. It continues on, but the shows will be premium only up to lock. JSU, myself, will have a lot of people on those shows. So make sure you use that code Masters50 Hoop. Take us in to that 7K range.
Yeah, I mean, a much better range than the 8K range. You know, at the top, though, you have Answer coming off the kind of weird withdrawal. I mean, he's going to have no ownership, but I'm not going there as a, you know, kind of a weird situation. Sergio, I was on him to start the week. Then I got off him, but now I might be coming back to him a little bit. I mean, he's looking like he's coming like unowned, like 3, 4, 5%. Former winner here. Yeah, I think he's pretty good in the wind. I might circle back and play a little Sergio. I haven't decided on him yet. I think Henley's a really good play. I mean, you just look at, I mean, playing guys that are in great form, and Russell Henley is kind of turning the corner. I mean, this year, 2nd, 14th, 33rd, 33rd, 13th, 13th in some good fields too. I mean, he's playing the players, Arnold Palmer, Genesis, Waste Management. Those are good fields. He's playing well. I believe he's had some success here. Definitely interested in him. Matthew Fitzpatrick, or Matt Fitzpatrick, is a guy that's kind of climbing my board here. You know, if it's going to be windy, which it definitely looks like it's going to be, and the winning score might be 7, 8, 9 under. That screams Matt Fitzpatrick to me. So really like him at 7-7. Tommy Fleetwood used to be my boy. I kind of wrote him off. I mean, the results here are starting to get a little bit better. But I've just been off him. I don't think I can get on. Paul Casey's interesting. Obviously had to concede his matches in the match play. You know, just think, if Paul Casey made it through his group, got bounced in the first round, Paul Casey's here at 7-6. Like, he's probably one of the most popular guys on the board here. Had the back spasms, couldn't play. I haven't decided what I'm going to do on Casey. I'm interested to get your guys' takes. I do like playing Casey. He has typically played well here. Corey Connors appears to be one of the highest owned guys in this field, and I think rightfully so. I mean, the price is cheap. He's had success here. The game's starting to round into form. Finished 3rd at the match play. Definitely like some Connors here. Billy Horschel is a guy I thought would be very popular this week because of how well he's played. But kind of looking like he's going to be low owned, and he's been playing some solid golf. So I'll be on Billy. No Reed, no Watson. I think Leishman makes a lot of sense. Kokrak's game is a disaster. I typically don't play Siwoo Kim. Like, I feel like you're either a Siwoo guy or you're not. I'm typically not a Siwoo guy, but this week I'm going to be a Siwoo guy. Cheap price tag, success here. I believe he's top 15 last 2 times out. Max Homa at 7-1, I think, is a good play. Robert McIntyre at 7K, another guy that I'm interested in. And then Cameron Young. I mean, I'm just going to keep playing Cameron Young. It appears that this big stage really hasn't scared him all that much. Although he did miss the cut at the players. I believe he was on the bad weather draw, though. He got stuck in that real bad wind. But prior to that, I mean, 26, I mean, going back to American Express, 40th, 20th, 26th, 2nd, 16th, 13th, in some good fields. So I'll definitely have some Cameron Young here. I'm glad they priced him like around 7K instead in the 6Ks. If he's in the 6Ks, I think he gets a lot of ownership. Just being at that 7K price tag, I think really limits his ownership this week. So very strong range. A lot of guys here that we can play for sure.
Yeah. What's crazy, and I mean, ownership is kind of like I've disagreed with a lot of it, but I show something I've seen like shows Russell Henley going backwards. I mean, I think when you factor in price, history, everything stats wise that I look at, putting, around the green game, par 5 scoring, ball striking, current form, like I think he's the best point per dollar play on the board. And he wasn't even on my big game hunters list because that he doesn't have the reps and the big finishes yet. But I agree with you, Hoop. I think he's right there. I think he's on the cusp of some very, very elite stuff. I mean, just looking at it, he's had multiple good finishes here and other decent results as well in majors. So I love that call on Russell Henley. Snyder, 7K range. I think a lot of good plays here. And I think, I'm kind of with Hoop also on Paul Casey. I'm undecided. Maybe you can help us out with Paul Casey.
Yeah, I definitely like Paul Casey this week. I think this is a week kind of like the players. He's going to kind of go under the radar. Nobody was talking about him in the players. They showed up like 7%, I think, that week. I think Casey kind of pulled out of the match play event, just kind of more so as a precautionary, I think. And he definitely didn't want to miss the Masters, I think. The approach play from Casey has just been excellent, dating back to even like midsummer last year. I mean, he's averaging over 3 strokes gained approach in his last 20 events, including 7.1 strokes gained at the Players and then 5.6 strokes gained at the Genesis. I think Casey has played well here. He's played well here at Augusta, finishing inside the top 15 in 4 of his last 6 trips. So I think Casey is definitely a guy I like in this range who will I think he's going to come in. I could see maybe what do you think, like 10% or less? So I think Casey's a really good target here. Going up to the top of this range, I do have I'm kind of deciding on Henley and Fitzpatrick. I'm not sure if I'm going to play them both or not because I think they're both going to come in like 15 to 20% range. I mean, I could probably get overweight on both these guys if I wanted to. I just haven't made a decision on that yet. I think Henley's just playing absolutely great golf right now. Like everything that you guys said, I mean, I think he fits the mold. I mean, I just don't know if I'm going to get him and Fitzpatrick. I kind of like Fitzpatrick a little bit more just because I've been playing him more so recently. He's been doing really well to start the year. 4 top 10s in his last 5 events. Lost in the playoff to Scotty Scheffler in the match play event. I mean, Scotty Scheffler went on to win that event, but Fitzpatrick was right there. I thought he played really well in the match play event. I think he feels a little underpriced here too. I wouldn't be surprised if like Fitzpatrick and Sung Jae Im were traded spots there. I mean, that's like $700. I wouldn't be surprised if those two were flip-flop in pricing. So I think Fitzpatrick's a little underpriced here. I like him. Has made his last 6 cuts here at Augusta. I think he could challenge for another top 10 here this year. So I'm going to have Fitzpatrick. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with Henley yet. He might make the pool. Connors looks to be like one of the most popular golfers. I don't think he's going to get as high. I mean, I'm projecting Connors to like 16 to maybe 20% or somewhere in that range. 11th at the API, 26th at the Players. Did have that good run at the match play. A 3rd there. Elite ball striker. Just he does struggle at times on the greens. 10th here in 2020. 8th last year. So I think Connors is another like a strong play in this range. I already mentioned Casey, Mark Leishman, another Aussie here that can play well in the wins if those spark up. And he had a really good end to 2021 too, and began 2022 with 3 top 16s in his first 4 events. So I like the form that Leishman's bringing in. Didn't play the best at the APR at the Players, but I still like the price tag on Leishman. Now that he's down in the lower 7Ks, we've seen him priced up quite a bit more in some previous events this year. So I like how Leishman's price kind of came down a little bit. He's made his last 5 cuts here, 3 finishes inside the top 13 in his last 4 trips here. So he's got good course history here at Augusta. So Mark Leishman's definitely going to be in my player pool. Siwoo Kim, I'm going to be on him this week. He played very well. Began 2022, making all 8 cuts. Finished 26 or better in 6 of his last 8 events. Strong course history here as well. I like the price tag on Siwoo here. He's made his last 4 cuts here with 3 top 25s. I think he's going to come in a little lower owned. I think a lot of the ownership is kind of going to Max Homa. I've heard a lot of people kind of talking him up in the industry. And I do have I have a comment on Max Homa. I'm not going to be on him. I love playing him early in the season, like January to March. I think he's a great option. Plays those courses really well. But I dug into some stats over 2021 last year. From April to December, Homa had 7 missed cuts and only 3 top 20s in that span. Going back to 2020, he had 9 missed cuts in that span and only 2 top 20s. So I kind of think I'm not sure what happens to him, but he just kind of always peters out once it gets to April there. He's 0 for 2 making the cut at Augusta. I think it's an easier fade for me. I think he's going to hit 15, maybe even higher than 15% ownership. I hear a lot of talk on him, so that's going to be my fade in this range. I'm going to go to some Bobby Mack too. He was playing great overseas before heading over here. Genesis was good for him. 35th at the Valero, but he had that bad 3rd round at the Valero. He was right there, shot like 76, 77 in the 3rd round. I did like how he bounced back though. He shot 3 under on that final round. So at least bounced back there a little bit. Finished 12th here last year. I think he's got the short game. He's good at bogey avoidance. I think he can play some defensive golf here when needed. So I think Bobby Mack is the guy I'm looking at in the bottom of this range.
Yeah, 2 things right out of the gate. First, Max Homa. I like Max Homa. He's treated us very well. He's made us money. I've been playing him recently. Last time I played him in a major was at what should have been a home track for him at the U.S. Open, the one that John Rahm won out there on the West Coast, California. And man, he's been so bad in majors. I mean, it's crazy. 40th, cut, miscut, 64th. I mean, if he's going to be chalk, if people are talking him up, yeah, the recent form is good. I just think, I don't even know if the Masters is a track that fits his game very well. You got to have more than just the ball striking and tee to green game to get it done. At the Masters, you have to have that wizardry around the green. And he doesn't have it right now at all. He ranks 70th in this field in strokes gained around the green over his last 24 rounds, which is what I always look at. So I think as much as I like Max Homa, I do lean for him being a fade for me this week. And then hold on. My other comments too, before fully diving into it. I got Paul Casey figured out for us. I think this one is easy. Okay. Coming off, I think this one is like the easiest take in this whole range. Coming off a withdrawal at a WGC match play event where he played a couple holes. There's something, going on there. Why even take the risk? I don't even think his form is that good for this track. The winds are going to be up. We know that he can absolutely eject and destroy your lineups. And I'm talking shooting the 80s when he's out of it. He just sucks when he gets going down that wrong path. So if Paul Casey beats me, he beats me. I just don't think he has it for Augusta this week. The around the green game is bad. The putting is very bad. He's relying solely on ball striking, which has looked good. He ranks 7th in the field on approach play. So I think Casey's an easy fade. I would much rather play a guy like Tommy Fleetwood, who's going to be lower owned than Paul Casey. I know Fleetwood has been very hurtful, but a bunch of made cuts here. He's been up there at times. I think he's a guy that benefits from the wind. I think also his around the green and putting is very good right now. Matt Fitzpatrick, you can make the same case there. A fine play. And if you take away the players, the current form looks very good on him. Corey Connors, very good play. Russell Henley, a very good play as well. Billy Horschel, I think I'm going to be off. Florida swing, we're through it. I have to make more cuts down here. I don't know if Billy's going to make it for me. I think Augusta might be a little bit too big of a course for him, but maybe he'll prove me wrong. If we go back to 2016, he has a good finish here. I don't know. I'm not buying it. I see him getting frustrated. And we know what happens when he gets frustrated as well. Mark Leishman, I like that call from you, Snyder. Siwoo Kim, I have a little bit of interest in. I'm not playing Seamus Power. I'm not playing Jason Kokrak. I'm probably going to be off Max Homa. Bobby Mack, I have a little interest in him. And, Luke List is interesting because of what he's doing off the tee right now. So if you look at Cam Champ and what he's done at Augusta, like what he's done at the par fives, it's been incredible. Like he's had a wedge into multiple par fives all 4 rounds when he's here. And that's what carries him. And I'm talking about Cam Champ. Luke List is going to be in that same boat. The ball striking is very good. The other surprising stat that is carrying Luke List right now, we all know his putting sucks. It is so bad. Like, give me one of the old timers, any of the old timers actually, to putt for Luke List, and he's posted in the top 15 here. His around the green game, he ranks first in this field over his last 24 rounds in gaining strokes around the green. And that is short game minus putting when you're looking at that. So I think that's something, if you add it to what he's doing off the tee right now and what he's doing on approach and on par fives, makes him a really interesting play this week here at Augusta. So for me, I have a lot, like, I feel like I have a ton of fades in this range, but I have a ton of flag plant plays where I'm eating chalk. Russell Henley and Corey Connors, I think, are 2 plays I'm very high on. But I'm going to say Henley and Fleetwood are going to be my 1 and 2 in this range. Snyder, you're 1 and 2.
I'm going to go number 1 for me is going to be Matthew Fitzpatrick. And then 2, I'm going to go down to my guy Mark Leishman down there for my number 2.
Yeah, very good. Hoop, you're 1 and 2. Then take us down into the 6K range.
1's going to be Fitzpatrick as well. 2, I'm going with my boy Billy Horschel. I like Billy Horschel. I like how he's been playing. 6K, yeah, it gets a little dicey, obviously, when you start coming down here. But at the top, I know Gary Woodland does not have the best course history here, but he's just playing some very solid golf outside of the players, which I believe, again, he was on the bad side of the weather. 5th, 21st, 8th at Valero. Just playing solid golf, and I think his game can set up quite well here. So at 6.9K, I'm going to be on some Woodland. Harmon, I like Brian Harmon here. He had a solid finish, I believe, last season, and kind of starting to play a little bit better. So I like him a little bit at 6.8K. Typically don't play Kevin Na, but I might be on a little bit of Kevin Na at 6.8K. Thomas Peters, I believe Big T had mentioned Peters is like a huge favorite over like Kevin Kisner. Kisner's at 6.8K. Peters at 6.6. Sepp Straka, kind of like Harold Varner a little bit this week. I haven't played a lot of him lately, but 6.6K. Think he can make a cut and kind of get up that leaderboard. Stuart Sink at 6'4", long off the tee, has experience here. Obviously like a boom or bust type play, but I think he can make the cut. And then another guy, Mackenzie Hughes, kind of has that wizardry around the greens. A risky play, obviously, but down here you're just looking for someone to make a cut and then maybe get into that top 25 over the weekend. I think he can do it. Not really messing with any of these former winners, but I like a lot of guys in the top tier, so I'm going to have to play some of these guys down here in the 6K range.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, one thing I'm considering doing is making a rule. Like, sometimes these optimizers are going to try to force in the best plays, and with that comes multiple punts in there. And I don't think I want that. I think I want to limit my guys in my lineup in the 6K range to just 1. So in SaberSim, you can do that now with their groups function. If you have any questions about that, feel free to hit me up in Discord. I'll walk you through that, or we have a SaberSim channel that you can ask that question in. But that is something that I'm most likely going to be doing this week as well. And I think the one thing in there, everyone probably knows this, but Harris English withdraw. I think he had hip surgery or something. So there's no way that he's playing the Masters this week. Snyder, 6K range. What are you good doing with these guys down here?
Yeah, I kind of like some Brian Harmon here. He's flashed a few times this year. Comes off a 5th place finish at the Valspar, 14th at the Waste Management Open. He was 3rd at the Amex as well. I think that was his highlight of 2022. I definitely think Harmon's a solid option here. He's a -130 favorite over Lee Westwood in the betting markets. The iron play has been creeping back into form for him too. I definitely like where he's kind of leaning here. I like how he's under 7K. 12th here at Augusta last year, so I like some Brian Harmon down there. Kevin Na is probably one of my favorite plays in this 6K range. He finished 2021 on fire, opened 2022 with a pair of top 20s, and now he's returned from having his third child being born, and did make it out of his group stage at the match play. I like seeing him play well there. Should be ready for Augusta here. I mean, he's going to be making his 11th start at the Masters, so he's definitely got the experience factor here. Finished top 15 in his last 2 starts here, so I definitely think Kevin Na makes for a good option down here. I don't mind playing like some Stewie Sink in the 6.4K range. 12th last year. He comes off a 7th at the Valspar. I think he's fine there. The guy I'm kind of going back and forth on. He's coming off of a good showing at the Valero net last week. He's a past major. I think he's won this event. It was quite a while back. 13th at the Valero. The short game's been there for him for like the last 2 months. Finally gained strokes approach at the Valero. It was 4.6 strokes gain approach. Zach Johnson. Not sure if I can click the name, but I mean, he's got the course history here. I mean, 6'4" seems pretty tasty for him. I think he's definitely going to be under 5%. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Zach Johnson finishes
this went downhill
30th.
fast.
Tough way to end the show.
I mean, this show was going good. Like, this has been a very good show, and we're ending it with Stuart Sink and Zach Johnson.
I was thinking,
oh my gosh,
I was thinking it, and then you said it. But you know what the problem is? Every time we tag team Snyder on one of his plays, the dude goes off. I think I might have to reconsider. I think I might have to bring Zach Johnson back into the player pool.
Oh, Zach Johnson. Oh my gosh. I mean,
I've got even one guy that's even dustier than that, but he did come off the loss in the quarters in the match play, made the cut in his lone Masters appearance. Another Japanese guy. I'm not going to play a Hideki, so I might play his buddy Takumi Kenyaya at 6K flat. I mean, if I'm trying to play like
last week,
I played him in the match play some. I mean, he was in that group with Xander and those guys and dusted all those guys. Came out of that pod. I mean, no one thought he was at 6K flat, so I might play him in like
too much like a Caged Lee type man.
that was very hurtful.
I'd rather play like Bernhard Langer like than those
Freddie
dudes.
Couples.
Like, I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. They're all the same plays. Like
this Kanimas, he's like 23 years old. He's young. I mean, I got him at top 50 worldwide ranking, but we've seen on that, who was that guy? Minwoo Lee. He was ranked high in the worldwide, but that guy freaking sucks. But I mean, he's made a cut here. It's interesting, I think, for 6K. If you want to load up like 2 or 3 of these 10K guys, or 3 or 4 9K guys, you plug him in there and you got a 7K guy. If he makes the cut, I would probably need like a top 40 finish for him I don't even know if you need that to pay off the price tag. All comes down to how many birdies and such he makes.
I mean, I just go like, you guys are going to make fun of me for this, but it's like, why in the world would I play a Zach Johnson or any of these other guys down here, like over a Matt Wolff? I know. I know.
Oh.
Like,
you follow up the Zach Johnson hate with Matty Wolff?
No, it's all relative. We're in the punt range. This is the pure trash punt plays. But we're talking about the reason you play a guy in this range is you want someone with winning upside, in my opinion, or someone with upside in general. And it's like, if he randomly finds something, he's been fine around the greens. He's a monster off the tee. It's just everything else sucks with him. He's got the mental issues going on. I get it. I'm just saying, like, I keep telling myself, like, why? Like, these other guys are going to get 35th. Like, that's not going to help me win. And if you like, we need, like, if you go and look at all the winning lineups out there, you're not winning with a guy who gets 35th. You're not winning with Stuart Sink and his 38th place finish. So Zach Johnson, maybe 48th place finish there, Snyder. So that's my only argument is like why I would play or consider playing a guy like Matt Wolff over them. I'm not saying he's a good play at all. You know, don't take the words and misconstrue them. It's just, I'm saying it's more of the theory and thought behind it. You know, you can make the same case for Cam Champ. Luckily, we have a guy who is a good play that is down here that is won already recently, was right there at the Players Championship, and he knocked it in the water on 17, and he was right there at the end to potentially win the Players. He went to the Georgia. He's a Georgia Bulldog grad, so he has to be familiar with. I mean, all these guys are obviously familiar with the course, but you got to think going to college there that maybe there's a little bit more familiarity with Augusta, and that's Sepp Straka. I think Sepp Straka 6'6", the putter's on fire.
We're talking. Now we're back. Now we're back on track, boys.
We're back on track. We're back on track, fellas.
Yeah.
Monster off the tee. He's just been getting it done. Does it in the wind too. Here's the thing, like the Honda, it was windy. He got it done. The Players, it was windy. He got it done. I just think he's a guy that, you know, the Arnold Palmer we can look over because they put him with I forget who he was playing with, but he's coming off his win. He was paired with the top guys that week, and he was on camera, you know, and just the featured group. So we can overlook that. But this dude's a putting machine. The ball striking is there. Former workbench play of the week as well, which has to be, you know, the best kind of honor that he's had so far in his PGA career is getting that workbench play tag. Not going to be that tag this week, but I do think he is a good notebook play of the week. Thomas Peters, another guy I'm looking at. Eric Van Rooyen, another guy I'm looking at. The thing about Van Rooyen, he was won in 2021. I believe he had a withdrawal. So he qualified for the Masters, and I think it may be COVID or something that was going on, and he was forced to withdraw. But I know this event is one that he was really looking forward to. Kevin Na, a little bit of interest there. And then, yeah, I'm going to be very careful with this range, though. I think the Straka, the Peters, maybe it's a little bit of Cam Champ is good, but then we're making a ton of cuts. Like Harold Varner is going to get like 6 to 8% owned. Like, I mean, I'm not going to play him. We know what he's capable of. Ryan Palmer is going to get 3 to 4%. We're not playing him. So we can make a ton of cuts down here, feel very good about them, and playing some flags on guys like Straka, you know, Van Rooyen, guys that have actually shown some upside recently. And I think that's the way to go. So my 1 and 2, Sepp Straka, and then I would say Kevin Na, actually. I'll go the baby narrative, good course history here. Snyder, you're 1 and 2 in the 6K range.
We go Kevin Na 1 and Brian Harman 2. And I don't know if I missed it or not. Did you guys have any takes on Thomas Peters down here?
I like Peters.
I like him.
He's a big favorite over a lot of these guys down here in the head-to-head markets. 6.6K. He finished what, 4th here a couple years ago, right?
I
think he finished 4th.
Yeah, 4th.
Yeah,
2017.
He's got the game. He's long off the tee. He's got the game. I mean, it's a boom bust play. Like, I mean, he's could easily be like dead last or, you know, top 10. I do like him though, for sure. That's one thing. You need the upside this week. You have because it's not just about guys making cut. Like 80% of the field's making the cut this week. 70%. You need the guys that can get to the top of that damn leaderboard.
Yeah, I agree. Hoop, did you give your 1 and 2?
It's going to be Woodland and Harmon.
Woodland,
Did you guys like
Woodland?
Gary or no?
I love Gary. Yeah,
right.
Underpriced. He's too cheap.
Play Waterland.
Yeah, I mean, he's. Yeah, I don't even see how that name really makes sense. But the guy's coming into form.
Snyder hates him, of course.
He's a major winner. And look, he's a Kansas boy and a huge Jayhawks fan. So he's coming in with all kinds of momentum, man.
Snyder's hurtful, man. Snyder's hurtful. Like
Gary actually should be in my. I'm gonna say Gary Woodland and Sepp Straka.
Yeah. Snyder, like AP, like Snyder will drop his little guys. You and I bring them into our inner circle, like the Mav McNeelys and Sahith. Like we accept all Snyder's guys. Like we mention our guys, and Snyder's like fade. freaking hurts.
Bad play.
Dunkel from the
He'll
bedside's
emphasize
got
it.
me off of Waterland. Dunkel from the bedside's always calling him Waterland.
Oh, okay.
He's been
Well,
playing
what is
good.
it? What has he done recently, though, Snyder?
Oh, he's definitely got good form coming into here.
T5?
I definitely think he's
6,900?
he's a good play.
Yeah, I'm gonna have at least like 18 to like 30% of them. I think he's way too cheap down here. And he in his putting is actually good. He's gained Snyder. He's gained 12.6 strokes cumulative over his last 24 rounds. For a guy who sucked at putting, we all saw that 3-putt at. I think it really screwed Big T at the Honda at the Honda. But if you overlooked stuff like that, he's been a good putter. So love Gary Woodland. All right, guys, let's keep this going. Let's get on to our winners. So we always pick two here. A guy who thinks that we think is just going to win, not really caring about the odds very much, and then someone that's more of a long shot. Snyder, I'm going to start with you. Who do you got this week?
I'm going with Brooks Koepka to win 21-1 to win on FanDuel. I think this is the year he takes the fifth major here at Augusta. He's had some really good form. He's leading up. I think he's going to get the win here. Did you want the long shot as well?
Oh, yes. We, of course, want the long shot.
I'm going to go. I really
Snyder.
don't want to bet anyone greater than 50-1 here because I don't think anyone greater than 50 really has a good chance of winning. But I do like Shane Lowry at 55-1 over on FanDuel. I think Lowry's the guy that he showed. He's a major winner previously. He's battled these tough guys. I think he can get it done here, especially if the winds pick up and the conditions get tough.
I like that. Two very good calls. Hoop, who do you got winning this week?
Yeah, I'm just going to go, the guy that I think wins it, Justin Thomas. He's probably, I think he's 14-1 in a lot of places. I just think he gets it done this week, close last year, I think. And the thing with JT, it's every year he's gotten better at Augusta. Last year was fourth, I believe. This year, he's getting it done. So he's getting that green jacket. If he doesn't, though, got to go with Tony Finau, 60-1. I think he has a chance to shock us all and get the job done. The game is starting to slowly round in form. Great course history here. Give me Tony as the long shot. I agree with Snyder, though. I mean, I don't really want to dabble super low in terms of the long shots this week.
Yeah, I mean, when you're looking down there, like it's you don't want to go. I mean, there's been some Danny Willett, some guys like that, but the this field is just so loaded. Like I wouldn't want to go too far down as well. And you stole one of mine and Tony Finau, but that's okay. I'm gonna go. Okay, so this guy dubbed, never wins, always gets second. Xander Schauffele. I think Xander.
That was my backup option. We're on the same page.
Okay,
this week. Good things are going to happen.
Yeah, a third, a second here. I mean, the guy's just always been in contention. His game looks good. And ownership, like I don't usually at the Masters, he's always one of the highest owned. I don't think he's going to be that. It's everything's spreading out. So usually he's like 30% owned. It seems like we're not going to get that this year, I don't think. And it's going to be easy to get overweight on him. And so Finau was the other one I'm looking at, but I'm going to go with the bet that I already have in place, which is Daniel Berger, 40-1 is going to be the guy that I am on. Snyder, final thoughts for the Masters.
Yeah, it's coming down to the greatest event of the year. Stoked for this event. I can't wait for it to get here. I mean, we're going to have a good show tomorrow with Big T, Uncle T, and Tambo on that for the premium show. I'm pretty pumped to do some Showdown shows too on the Mayo Media Network. I'll probably be on there with Hoop on Thursday, I believe. And then I think I'm on Friday as well with Big T and JSU. So pumped for the Showdown shows and all the content that comes with the Showdown, with the playbook and all that as well.
Yeah, and just to add on to the Showdown conversation, definitely a good week to tune in because, I mean, we're one of the only sites in the industry that's really putting an effort behind the Showdown stuff. I think there's going to be a pretty big edge all week long, like round 1, 2, 3, and 4. Snyder does the playbook. We put up our core plays and we have those shows on the Mayo Media Network. I think there's an edge to be had this week. So, make sure to get over Run Pure Sports, get your membership, Masters 50% off any weekly, monthly package right now. I mean, it's the best deal in the industry. We talked about it in the opening. Other sites are charging you more right now because baseball's starting. They're charging you more for F1. They're releasing golf products that are astronomically priced. Run Pure Sports, we're giving you a discount. Come on over, join us. Let's pick some winners.
Yeah, very good. Any additional final thoughts there, Hoop? Or, I mean, you wrapped it up there pretty nicely.
Just looking forward to it. I mean, it's the best golf event of the year, and we get Tiger Woods back. Huge storyline there. You have all the best golfers in the world. It's just such an iconic event. So fun to watch, and the coverage is great too. Online, you can get every tee shot, every approach shot. I mean, every golfer shot is on the Masters website. So it's a very fun event to sweat. I'm going to get the RPS logos at the top of the leaderboard this week.
Yeah, very good. Actually, a buddy and I were texting today. Clint, he'll be watching this. Shout out to you. We're talking about strategy, and he had a certain amount of money set aside for the Masters week, and we were talking strategy there. And I think he's going 60-40, 60 for the main slate, and then the rest of that 40% there is going to be used for Showdown. I like that strategy. Like, I think that's very sound. Have the amount of money that you want to put into play and then divide it up, not just by like tournaments, cash games, if you play that or whatever, but have it divided up by, showdowns as well. So we're going to be providing content for that. Core plays, shows, like Snyder said, all of that. Use the code MASTERS50. Come sign up with us. Get 50% off your first payment over here at Run Pure Sports. Masters week, it's going to be a phenomenal week. We got tons of more content coming out. The playbook's going to be up. The tiers are up. The core plays, we've enhanced that. Like I said, the entire PGA team is now on there. So make sure you check that out tomorrow. I'm AP. That's Snyder. That's Hoop. Helmet, get us out of here.